guys, back here again with the Deadpool's Theory. Jarvis here, Jman over here. You know, we're just over here. You know,
we're here.
We're here. We're over there.
We're here.
We're all
we're
over.
We're queer. We're ready to talk about some wrestling.
I don't know about you. I'm definitely queer, but I am not here right now. My mind is gone.
Dude, we are on another planet.
This video right here, son.
Get it?
We're gonna hop into some wrestling stuff. I know we've been chomping at the bit to talk some wrestling.
Yep.
And this one is basically a as we're watching it unfold, a possibility or manifestation of a new wrestling war. Essentially, watching the ultimate declining of WWE as we speak, and the rise of New Japan for the hardcore wrestling fan. Specifically, I think, because we talked about this prior also, is the information age that we live in. There's so much that you know, like you just know things like you didn't know in the 90s and
right.
80s in wrestling, and even the early 2000s,
yep.
because of the internet. And it makes it hard for, I was telling him, the hardcore fan or the casual fan is the hardcore fan now, because it's so easy. If you like WWE, if you like watching Raw and SmackDown, some way or another you either follow wrestling stuff on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, and then you see, say you watch a WWE video, and in the suggested underneath you see some random vlogger talking about an issue, and you're like, what is this? And then like it's a virus.
Yep.
It's spreading, and whenever something happens and there's an issue within the company or an issue with wrestlers or anything going on, you know about it as soon as possible. And now where we're at now, because of that, I think the wrestling fan would rather see good wrestling matches
yep.
more than they would rather try to have you pretend that something is real and it's not.
And that's a big thing nowadays, and we talked about that as well, is the fact that you can't trick anybody anymore.
Yeah.
You can't make people believe in anything anymore. You can't, or I guess it's harder to suspend their disbelief,
mm-hmm.
or I think that's the right term, to get people to believe into something or to really bite into something. You see what NXT does is they have characters, they have gimmicks that are very character driven. You have the Velveteen Dreams and things like that. Obviously, you have the ones kind of rooted in reality. The people that are just guys, they're mm-hmm. just dudes. Obviously as well. But the characters aren't so over the top that it's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like how you see on the main roster, you see guys like Aleister Black, who, it is a character, but you see the sense of realism to that character, mm-hmm. to who he is as a person.
Yeah.
You connect that to them. And it's the same way that it worked back in the Attitude Era, and all those characters, they tried to peg, The Rock with Rocky Maivia and being all happy-go-lucky. That didn't work. What did you do? Mm-hmm. You turned him into who he is and just turned the volume to 11. You try to do the Ringmaster shit with Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, you just have him be who he is, black trunks, black tights, nothing special, and you turn it up to 11. Triple H, the Blue Bloods gimmick. No, you just have him be who he is, turned up to 11. So, I mean, you can't get over these ridiculous angles and ridiculous things anymore, and I think they know that, but they're just not in the right process and the right mindset to get it over the correct way.
Yeah, and it also has to do with, this is one of the big things I wanted to get into with them competing as a wrestling fan, watching both companies. I've definitely dwindled in my WWE watching. I mean, I try to catch most of the pay-per-views, if not at least the best matches.
Right.
I'll watch highlights of Raw and SmackDown usually. If I hear about a good match on Raw or SmackDown, I'll watch it. I mean, I'll stay caught up with storylines just reading about them, but
we're uploading this as it would be Sunday currently. For you guys, which is the day of Extreme Rules. Mm-hmm. We're not watching that show. Like, we're not watching it live. Like, I have no intentions to want to watch it live.
There's matches on it I would like to see.
Yes, there are matches that I think
I just don't want to sit through a 4-hour
No, I
show.
don't. 5 hour with the pre-show too, because there's a pre-show match as well. It's just it's so bloated and just overstuffed with shit that doesn't need to be on there. And yes, there are some matches that I'm intrigued to see, but their goal is, and like we've talked about, has been quantity over quality, and it does not work at all. Because the NXT formula is the one that works, which is quality over quantity, and it's evident. It's just obvious that you can see it there.
What's that whole idea of flood the market with as much as possible, put us out there everywhere, all over the place as much as we can, go everywhere. We have the capital, we have the means, the money to do it, and let's just go everywhere. And if you try to do that, you instead of, if you try to surround everything, then you do a little bit for everything, but you neglect as well.
Yep.
So like the lacking for Raw has been, it's awful. It's so bad. It's not, I mean, the storylines are not good. Most of the characters are not good. And that goes to where, when we talk about New Japan is, they have a lot more freedom to let things happen organically, let a guy develop organically. Specifically, one of the biggest things about New Japan that I like is they give a guy an opportunity to no script, maybe a couple bullet points of something that they should say, but go out there and wing it with your promo or whatever, and then you get a promo like Juice Robinson just did before the San Francisco G1 Climax show, and that vaulted him, I wouldn't say to the main event, but it vaulted him to being a popular act, American act in a Japanese promotion.
Absolutely.
Where if you were to see CJ Parker, his character in NXT, you would think, who the hell is this hippie guy? That's probably going to be No Way Jose.
So overproduced and so over-manufactured, instead of just letting a guy take who he is. And that's, again, I go back to how it was, in the heyday of characters and character-driven things that worked so much back in the Attitude Era with guys, is you take a piece of a character and you let them figure it out, instead of being so produced and manufactured and it has to be exactly like this. Mm-hmm. This is my vision. This is what I see. You have to be exactly like this. Right. Instead of letting the person who's going to have to live in this character and be this character, let them take what it is and then run with it how they please.
Right. Unless you're a jack of all trades as a character, as a person, and you can just play whatever character, whatever hand they deal you,
right?
Which is not very often.
No,
not everybody can do that.
No,
it's not easy to do that. You know, in NXT you have a little more room to grow, and you have a little more. It's a little more open-minded down there in developmental, and it's the issue I see is Triple H and the guys down there, working that. The developmental system is giving these guys the opportunity to figure themselves out, come up with characters, and then there's this. I'm going to call it now, because I really think it is very evident, I would say a vicious cycle, or somewhat of a destructive cycle in the WWE system, which is build these guys up in NXT, get them popular for the most part. After WrestleMania season, have them come in either right after WrestleMania or a couple weeks after WrestleMania, debut, and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like they're feeding the developmental system, and then they're cramming the Raw and SmackDown rosters with guys, and they don't have anything to do with them. You know what I mean? You're gonna have so many guys on the roster, and you're gonna overflood it, and everything's just gonna be a shell of itself.
Yep. And that's what happens. It's just like a sports team. When you bring in guys, you bring in new draft picks, you bring in, new guys that you sign, you have to trim something else. Mm-hmm. And they don't do that. They just keep shoving everything in the bag, and you get guys, somehow one of the best workers, in the company, a guy like Andrade Cien Almas, is just lost in the mix. Mm-hmm. And that's sad, because he literally could be like this generation's Eddie Guerrero. And with what he's done in NXT, for him to come up and just have this muddling, just nothing feud with. Is he feuding with Sin Cara? He's like, what are you doing with these guys?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you just move other guys over and you want to try to freshen up things, and then you have one of the best tag teams on your roster, like the Bar, literally doing nothing because they have nothing for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, the creative has nothing for you. For one thing, creative isn't even creative. I don't know where their creativity comes from because I don't see anything creative coming from WWE
They're
at all.
manufactured writers right out of college that got incredible grades at writing, but know nothing about
wrestling.
Yeah, they
don't
know shit about
wrestling.
I mean, I don't want to say that because I don't know for sure, but from what I've seen, it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know what storylines or writing they do in New Japan. I don't know how they sit down and orchestrate their storylines or whatever, but their storylines are built around the feud and around the match. It's the match and the feud and then everything, around it. And then they start building from the inside out.
And it's very basic. It's very, it's a good basic, though. It's not saying that it's a bad basic.
Yeah.
It's something like Jericho and Naito.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing Jericho in and then playing off of that and having him do the beatdowns and surprise attacks and things like that. That's just pure, 80s heel work. That's just classic wrestling stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think the classic nature of those things needs to be brought back into wrestling, but I still miss the WWE, the big angles that were built up and you were questioning what was going to happen or questioning what was going on, and you don't have that anymore. There's literally none of that. It's the shit with Bayley and Sasha just dragging shit out for months upon months upon months, doing that kind of shit. It's Constable Corbin bullshit. It just what the fuck is this? It looks like literal retards are writing this shit. It's so fucking bad that there is no. This is their job, is to creatively take these characters and take this talent and put them into positions to further progress the television product and progress the show, and you're literally just getting muddling, rehashed, redone angles or storylines are just so typical that don't work, unlike the basic type of angles that work very well in New Japan because they're putting them with the right talent in the feuds. They're feuding them at the right time. Yeah. They know the timing, which is key, instead of wasting people that have massive heat and that need to be focused on.
NXT's ever evolving too, so it's never stale because they're always cycling guys in and out. It's a never ending cycle. It's it's kind of sad. It's being born into the world, and then you get to that peak in NXT, and then you go to WWE, and then unless something happens great for you or something,
unless Vince loves you,
Vince loves you, or some kind of great storyline pushes you, vaults you to the top, and the crowd somehow gets you over, which is hard as enough to do anyway. Even if you get over, they might not want to let you be over. Then you know what I mean. You go from being in your early to mid 20s having a great time to being 70 years old.
Yes.
You're pretty much just poop.
Yep.
And I think one of the telltale signs of it is with the hardcore fans. Like I said, I think I figured out that the thing that WWE does not realize is the casual wrestling fan is the hardcore wrestling fan now.
I mean, I agree with that, but there is a disconnect when it comes from guys coming up from NXT and being portrayed in NXT and having them be massively over in front of those really hot, really hardcore based fans. That's why they run their shows, and they originally ran them and still continue to run them at Full Sail and have that hardcore fan base that knows everything about NXT, knows everything. As soon as you turn into NXT, everybody's chanting along, everybody's doing this. And then they run their takeovers at hardcore wrestling cities. So far, they've ran shows in Philadelphia and Chicago this year. Hardcore wrestling-based cities. That's Triple H knows that. They know they need that feel to those shows. And obviously, in anything WrestleMania or WrestleMania weekend, obviously with that amazing takeover in New Orleans that we had the opportunity to go to, you have hardcore fans there. We've always said that hardcore fans are at WrestleMania, but it's that disconnect that you see them come up and it feels different because the typical every week WWE crowd and WWE atmosphere with the fan base is different.
Mm-hmm.
It has that disconnect. It's like it's the same way that we sit here and we're hoping that a guy like Drew McIntyre can be the future of this company. It can be the guy that they put as like a future face and future champion of the company. But we're sitting here, and I remember talking with Jarvis a couple weeks ago. Is like, we know that, but is he going to get over with that fan base? Is he going to get over with those still, as I would say, casual fans? Because I do think that, I do agree that casual fans are becoming more aware, but I still don't think they're to the level of, guys like us or guys like that are probably watching this, or gals that are watching this video or that are online that might just be starting to realize that. And you still have the family-based, content that you have and things like that fans are still at those shows. So it's still a tad bit of a disconnect. It's guys like, McIntyre hoping that they get over. Guys like Almas hoping that they get over. That's why I'm just petrified of guys like Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano even touching the main roster, because you want that to translate over. And it's really, it just seems so hard for many. Again, like I said, unless Vince loves the guy to get over that way.
Do you think the hardcore fan, the hardcore wrestling fan, goes to the WrestleManias, the SummerSlams, the Survivor Series, the
Rumbles?
Do you think the hardcore wrestling fan loves going to those shows?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they gear towards the main shows, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well,
also, I would think it also goes into where it's at, because the city at which they're in is going to play a huge part, because you have just hardcore fan bases. And I mean, if you ran a show in, and see, it's hard to tell, because I don't think we've really seen an NXT takeover or a show like that ran at not being at a huge wrestling city. Triple H knows that. Triple H knows that they have to be in a city that is a hardcore fan base. That's why there's been like 2 or 3 takeover Chicago's being in Chicago. They know that's a huge key place, but you don't see takeover fucking Portland, Oregon, or Minneapolis or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see that fan base, because I think they would be maybe not to the extent of like Chicago's or Philadelphia's, but you would see them be hyped for it just because of the product itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what WWE is lacking, because nobody's excited about anything that's happening on the main roster. And there's every right to not be excited, because nothing intriguing or interesting is happening with a ton of talent that's on the main roster, for sure. Sorry to cut your topic off, but you can go back.
No. I mean, I agree. I agree to a point. I think I would say half of, if not, I feel like at least half of most of the audiences at wrestling shows, WWE shows, like Raws and SmackDowns and pay-per-views, are hardcore fans.
I would agree with that.
And
I can see that.
That's why you get the booing of Roman Reigns. That's why you get the boredom of sitting on your hands when stupid stuff is happening or boring stuff is happening.
True.
And I think that for them to pick up steam, not just for myself and for you, because we are hardcore fans of wrestling, you have to pander to the hardcore wrestling scene. Like, you have to do it not just in NXT, you have to do it on Raw. And you have to, you got really hardcore wrestling fans that have tattoos of wrestlers on their body that love wrestling and that are huge fans of the actual work. Flying from New Zealand to WrestleMania, and you put on that show that you did this year. Like, if anything should be your best quality of work to excite the fans, it should be that. And that's what I mean by the casual fan is the hardcore fan, because those big shows like that, those SummerSlams and those WrestleManias and all those other ones, that's where you're going to get your most popular. Your biggest fans are going to come to those shows.
For sure. And
you have to, I think that they have to run those shows like New Japan runs Dominions and stuff like that, in Wrestle Kingdoms, and the takeover shows. That to me would increase my interest in the show.
And we've talked about it time and time again. In this era of wrestling, it is about the quality and work rate.
Mm-hmm.
It is a work rate and quality era. You have guys that I would watch guys that literally have the charisma of a fucking doorknob, but they can work their ass off, and I'll watch their matches. Now, obviously, those kind of guys aren't going to translate to a main roster, big television, produced show like WWE. But you have guys that have them both, that have both the ability to connect with an audience and totally just immerse you with amazing wrestling quality. You have great guys. That's why, in my opinion, the person that should be Universal Champion right now is Seth Rollins. He's been the MVP of the main roster because he has both. He has amazing in-ring work, amazing, everything that he has in-ring obviously is bar none one of the best in the world, but he connects with the audience with a little of both, with the fact that he's a likable guy, with the fact that, he's cool and all this shit, but you watch him wrestle and you are just immersed with what he's doing. You are totally guys like AJ Styles. AJ Styles has had a fan base of he's never been the best talker. He's never had this or that. He's always literally just been like a real life wrestling superhero. Like that's what he is because he's just like untouchable and he does things that most people cannot do. And he's gotten over on his work rate. And that's why those kind of guys are two of the most over guys in the company when they're trying to get over, character-based guys. Or they're trying to get over who they want as far as a look or established this or that or blah, blah, blah. I would say the exception maybe is a Braun Strowman because he was and still massively over, and he has that appeal of being, a prototypical WWE guy, being the huge, big ass fucking dude or whatever. So, to me, it's just like how New Japan is. New Japan plays to the fact that anytime we tune into a New Japan show, we know we are going to get quality in-ring wrestling with flashes of, storyline continuations and development with stuff going on with, the Bullet Club and this and that. They still add that in, which is, I think, a lot more than what New Japan used to do. New Japan, it used to be just you would go there for the wrestling content, and they would build the feuds upon, history of guys together and their feuds and things like that. But you're tuning into New Japan to watch quality wrestling, and people are doing that because that's what they want to see. That's what this era of wrestling is quality in-ring work and the work rate.
Yeah. I was going to say, while you were saying that, I was thinking in my head, what New Japan is doing right they've been garnering boatloads of fans and pulling even WWE fans away, hardcore WWE fans away, for people to just be viewing New Japan, is instead of WWE trying to do the thing where they have the character build the story and then they think the story is going to be outside of the match is going to be good enough to carry the match for people to enjoy it.
Like how it used to be.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like that more back in the day where you didn't have the work rate and you didn't have the quality in the ring, but you were so immersed with the story that was happening.
Right. But for New Japan, instead of telling the story, creating the character, then having the match, they're telling the story in the match.
Yeah.
So they're telling the story.
Psychology. Yep.
The psychology. They're telling the story. It is you are literally watching, an athletic theater play.
Yep.
And as much grief as we've given Dave Meltzer trouble for his overbearing, ridiculous star ratings.
Yep.
I think that's why he sees those matches as being so good. I mean, he could have a bias towards New Japan, I guess, and like them a lot, but one thing you can say about their major matches and even a lot of their undercard matches is that you may go into the match not knowing what the storyline is between the two, if there's even if there is one, but in the match while you're watching it, they're going to tell a story and you're going to watch it unfold as the match happens. And then when those people have a match again in a feud, then you can think, well, I watched this last match where they did a bunch of stuff in this, and then they did this thing and that thing in the match, and then you watch the next match and they play off it.
Yep.
And
I think to play to your point, that's exactly what happened with the Dominion match with Okada and Omega.
Yeah.
I mean, that literally was every fall was like how we were sitting there watching it. We're like, man, every fall has been like each one of their matches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was the long match, it was the short sprint, it was playing off each other's movesets and knowing and being able to, you know, counter each other and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, obviously, and you've heard, you know, wrestlers and workers say that that's the hardest thing to do, is to connect with that in-ring story being told. And New Japan is the kings of it right now, for sure.
Right. So, I mean, and you look at that specific style. I mean, I guess not everybody loves that style, you know, of match. Obviously, there's definitely, if we're going to say that, the very casual fan just loves to see the Strowman or the Roman Reigns or the Bobby Lashley or
boom,
whoever.
Boom, punch, kick, pin, bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to see that and the very cheesy, bad soap opera storyline that has, you know, never been good. You know, if you're not going to give us that on Raw or SmackDown or even on the pay-per-views, I think that there should be a very strong consensus within the company to really work on storylines.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give us the matches on Raws and SmackDowns and pay-per-views that New Japan is giving us, and you got to give us the better characters and you got to give us the better storylines so that we want to continue to watch, even if the matches are not good.
Or even fully establishing some of these characters to the extent of how over they are. You know, guys like, you know, another guy that I'm kind of scared of seeing go to the main roster, a guy like a Velveteen Dream. Like, he's got that character on lock. Like, he doesn't need any help. He doesn't need any. Just give him the platform to produce it. Mm-hmm. Give him the platform to go out there and express himself. A guy like Elias, you know, it took a long time for a guy like Elias to really gain some traction and do this and that, but I just feel like they will never get to that extent of maybe getting him to, you know, a world title picture kind of scenario, because they just have their thought in mind of who needs to be in those spots instead of letting it organically get there. We saw it. We were live for the Raw after Raw. Elias was the most over thing there. Like, his segment on Raw was fucking insane. Like, I am not the kind of person that would say, hey, this guy deserves to be a world champion, but he at least deserves to be one of the most focused on characters and established characters, instead of these guys that they want to be, instead of the guys that should be because of where they position themselves or things like that. And that's why I'm kind of hesitant to see some of the guys like, you know, a Velveteen Dream or Aleister Black that have such good characters and are naturally great at what they do to come into the main roster and just be completely fucked over and how they should be, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a catch-22 because, you know, if these, because obviously, like I said, WWE's not giving us the storylines and the characters that, you know, can draw us in to want to pay attention, and they're not going to give us the matches that we want to see. Or in the quality.
They give us the matches they want to see, but then we feel like they sabotage the fucking matches that they give us, like an AJ and Nakamura at WrestleMania, because how do you fuck that up? Yeah. How do you fuck that up? Oh, because you have an agenda to serve between every other match and all these other fucking bullshit reasons that you somehow fuck up one of the best matches that, you know, New Japan's seen in the last couple of years, which AJ and Nakamura had a match at Wrestle Kingdom that was fucking tremendous, and they could probably do it with their fucking eyes closed, but WWE gets in the way of it, and that's some bullshit.
Yeah, they get in the way of their own
ridiculous.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's that to me. When you look at the parallel between WWE and New Japan, it's if you're not going to, I mean, WWE is giving us the matches in NXT and in 205 Live, and you know that's our that's the platform, and I see. What they're trying to do is make, you know, Raw and SmackDown and their pay-per-views, their worldwide, you know, big name worldwide characters on those shows, and think it, you know, it'll work just leaning off that. And then you have the hardcore fan who's like, man, this sucks. I don't want to watch this because it's not good. It's not entertaining. Right. They give you the NXT. They give you the 205 Live. They give you the WWE NXT UK stuff.
Do you think that it's a thing to where, because I've thought of it too, is Vince realizes that NXT, all the NXT UK stuff, that's for the hardcore fan. Mm-hmm. This is my playground to play with the entertainment, character-driven bullshit that we see on the main roster. So you have your NXT, you can have your Triple H doing what's right down there and making it the great wrestling product that it is. And you're going to get the fan-friendly, entertainment-based WWE stuff on the main roster.
Yeah, I see that being a thing. I mean, I know that Vince is in the midst of, I guess, working on the XFL stuff. So when he disappears for a while, maybe Triple H can get his foot in that with a little bit and see if he's able to work on Raw for 4 months or something like that, and see what happens. Obviously there was issues with 205 Live, and he took over 205 Live booking.
It was like a 180 turn too. It's just like completely different show.
Given what the people wanted to see from the Cruiserweight Classic, they're finally giving us those type of matches on 205 Live.
And 205 Live is now better than both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah,
and worth watching more than that.
Yeah, it match quality wise, even if I've kept up with the storyline stuff that they've been trying to do,
yeah,
it's not super overblown, but it's just like who's better, me or you?
Yeah,
who's better, me or you? I mean, they're kind of doing that with Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, Dolph has Drew McIntyre on his up his ass also, but I mean, can we just have a badass heel that?
And not to mention, they're giving Tripp understands, because he has worked with a lot of these guys. He's worked with a guy that used to be in a tag team that we just thought, oh, he's just a tag team guy. And now you have Buddy fucking Murphy, who's one of the best workers in all of WWE that we would have never thought and saw coming if not given the opportunity to go out there and work his fucking ass off. Mm-hmm. That's why anything that seems like Triple H touches, he knows what guys to get out there and put in front of them. He knows who has the talent. He knows who has the drawing power. And he puts it out there and gives you what you want. And you get these guys that are so much I wouldn't say so much more than what they should be, but so much more than what it seems like they should be. The guys like, Mustafa Ali, who's gotten a chance and now has got that WrestleMania opportunity with, Cedric Alexander, which they're kind of building, 205 Live off of. But, you start adding in, like, Leo Rushes and having him, be a completely different, aspect to that division and a completely new character and thrown in there. But, I mean, you have these guys that didn't get opportunities and were probably just going to be wasted somewhere else. And, the outcome of that is somebody like Buddy Murphy putting on some of the best matches in all of WWE, which is awesome to see. And that's a thing that, we've spoken to and touched before is all these guys. I wouldn't say all these guys, but some guys that are on the main roster that are just doing absolutely nothing. Guys like a Chad Gable that can be so much more utilized. Literally, could be this generation's Owen Hart and could literally flourish so much in 205 Live or with a redone kind of reinvitation, I guess, basically not a redone anything, but thrown into NXT or something like that. And there's tons of other guys that you can talk about that literally just aren't kind of doing anything that could be, repackaged or represented into a different product and maybe deliver more than literally sitting on their hands doing absolutely nothing. Yeah. Instead, we get fucking, somehow Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas get more TV airtime than somebody that has the amazing, ability of like a Chad Gable, which is just fucking ridiculous. And you get Mojo Rawley and Jinder Mahal still, and it's just like, No Way Jose.
Mojo Rawley having singles matches.
What the fuck? Like, Are you kidding me? Like, this shit is trash. And you have these guys that can go out there and put on great matches and literally be super charismatic like Chad Gable is, because we saw it with American Alpha. No, you get to watch a 6-minute Mojo Rawley and fucking No Way Jose match instead, which is fucking trash.
Yeah, I think the one thing that they need to whoever's, I mean, I don't know if it's specifically Vince, but if it's Vince, I would imagine needs to stop having this perception of the guy.
Yeah.
This is I like him. He's
we have to have that guy.
He's that's my guy. Bobby Lashley. I love me some Bobby Lashley's my guy.
Right.
Roman Reigns, that's my guy.
Right.
Brock Lesnar, it's my guy. You see it on Raw. Yep. You see it on Raw. Give those two guys get the opening segment and have the whole entire roster peel them apart, and it's just like two guys that have zero charisma in the ring. They're just two jack dudes that people just don't care about them.
No.
They just don't care about them, and and it's unfortunate because. And then you have the title, which is supposed to be on Raw, is not there, and Lesnar's doing UFC stuff, and they're just yanking on Lesnar's dick like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they're just letting him do whatever he wants, and
letting him be the literal tree and roadblock that he is to the progression of the main roster, because that's exactly what he is. Because that title should be on somebody that is the guy on that show, and he's literally not even on it. Like, I mean, we've said it. Everybody beats it like it's a dead horse. Like, obviously the champion should be there, but it's not even that. It's so much more than that when it comes to Lesnar, because he halts the progress and he delays the progress of that product, of WWE's product and main roster, so much it's not even funny, because he just gets in the way of everything that should be and could be happening, that could be great stuff. Because I don't know if anybody else out there really... I don't want to see anything else with Brock Lesnar. I don't care. Like, okay, give us a match with Lashley. Everybody's talked about that, whatever. It'll probably be shit, but, whatever. You get to see him clash and do their fucking shit. But he just is in... I don't know of any other champion that has just been in the fucking way too much to where you're just delaying guys that could have that opportunity and could have that, brass ring to kind of hold on to. Instead, the brass ring is, sitting at home, on the dresser, like just whatever. Like, there's no need for it. Like, they're having to book Raws with main event matches for Raw that are literally just singles matches. Like, Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley will probably main event Extreme Rules, and it's just a fucking match. Like, just like how Joe and Reigns was just a match. Like, you don't have the title, let alone, the titles are treated like pieces of candy, and they make so many of them that they're pretty much worthless to this point. But even that, at least you could have it there. At least you could have it, be on the line, or for somebody fucking defending it. Jesus. It's ridiculous. We've talked about it time and time again with Lesnar, but it's fucking so dumb.
Yeah. I would say this to end here with it. I would definitely say as a wrestling fan that really, really cares about either the quality of the in-ring work, the storytelling of a match. If WWE can't give me that, the only thing I'm going to watch is NXT.
Yep.
And I'll watch 205 Live when there's good matches and stuff too. I'll watch the takeovers. I'll catch the big WWE shows. I'll skip the other ones, and if there's a good match, I'll go back and watch it. But I won't watch the Raws or the SmackDowns. I'll watch the highlights just to catch up, see what's going on. I do have wrestlers that I like, and I want to see. I want to see them flourish and do good things, but
it's not worth it to sit all the way through it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth the time.
And other people know it. We were just talking before we came on the air about the lowest Raw rating that I think they've ever had, or some shit.
Something like that.
The lowest Raw rating in history. Like, if that doesn't speak to the people behind the scenes and the people booking these shows and producing these shows, I don't know what does. Because at the end of the day, people's asses in seats, and we've seen the crowd attendance and the shots of the crowd, that they're pretty fucking small and diminishing by the day, it seems like. And the viewership on TV, it's going down. So how do you not in your head think like, okay, people aren't giving a shit, so let's maybe do something different. Let's change something. Let's do something that is going to excite fans. Let's do something that is going to change the way this product goes into the future. Nope, that's not for them. They'll just keep doing their thing because they have nothing else. They have no other competition, but that's what we hope for with the New Japan. We hope for guys like Cody and the Bucks and Omega to continue to stand their ground and fight it out with New Japan and make a claim saying, fuck that place. We have some great friends there. There's some amazing talent there, but we don't need to just pander to what everybody else has done and run over there and run into the open arms of Vince and have him give us all his money to just be another spoke on the wheel. These guys...
Some guys need to leave. Some WWE guys.
Absolutely.
They need to leave and go to New Japan.
Absolutely.
I think it would be a real feather in their cap to get some of these guys that are just kind of doing nothing and to pull a Cody Rhodes and to be like, Juice Robinson just cut another promo too where he was like, hey, they fired me from NXT and they said, go make something of yourself. And he left, and he did. Cody Rhodes is doing the same thing.
Yep.
You know, he would never get these kind of opportunities to
Yep.
show that how good of a character he is and how good he is as a heel. And if he returned to WWE, he looks like a major star now.
Yep.
And he did. He went out and he left, and he made himself into a star.
Just like McIntyre did.
Yep, McIntyre did the same.
McIntyre did the same thing, and
you know,
hopefully
really
that'll continue on that route. But it's going to take those guys standing their ground and saying, "Fuck this." You know, we're not just going to run back. And hopefully, there's been a lot of talk of WWE by the beginning of next year just throwing the fucking ship at them and giving them everything that they want. You know, obviously, would we like to see some of these matches with guys, you know, that are outside WWE coming into WWE? Sure, but if it's going to continue to be the overproduced, manufactured, sabotaged, you know, way that the main roster has come off, then fuck that.
WWE must be worried too, because they've offered them contracts, and then all these guys have turned them down.
Yeah,
and now they're going to re-offer them probably even more money.
Yep,
and they see that the draw-in that they're doing, that, you know, the people behind the scenes are shit. These guys sold out a show in a couple hours.
Yeah.
10,000 seat arena in a couple hours.
Yep.
Like off of just what? How many people did they have named for that show?
basically off of hype. That's basically. I mean,
signed
they
it off of hype.
didn't even have matches announced. They just had. I mean, they had talent announced, obviously, so you know that they're going to book some great matches. But they booked it off of the fact that you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get. Unlike where nowadays, you know, back years ago, you know, if there would be like, okay, you know, WrestleMania is going to be around or whatever, we need to grab our tickets. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. We know what's going to. It's WrestleMania. Nowadays, fuck that. I would have to wait to see what the card looks like. I would have to wait to see what's going to be happening and be like, oh, I might grab one late. But no, that's not how this is. Those guys now are to the point to where they can just tag their name onto something, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm all about that, because I know what we're going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. I know what to expect with these guys.
And this last New Japan show for America, the G1 special for San Fran, that show was good.
Yeah.
I watched that whole show, and that show was I would say fun from start to finish.
Yeah.
Had a good storyline with the ending.
Right.
Had like 4 pretty good to great matches. The undercard was fun. The crowd was into the show. So like, you know, that's what SummerSlam's supposed to be like.
Yep. WrestleManias.
WrestleMania,
right.
Yeah. Like you're supposed to go out of that show being like, man, that was exciting. I had a good time. You know, I don't know. The whole idea and the whole hype behind going to a wrestling show is having a good time and being excited about what's happening at the show.
Right.
And that's not happening at the WWE shows. People are chanting, you know, quit, you know, all kinds of random nonsense.
Literally, this is what happened. That we can
hitting beach balls.
We can explain this to you and give you the perfect description of what he's talking about right now. We went to NXT on Saturday night, the night before WrestleMania. We went to NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I would still say is probably the best show of the entire year. One of the best overall WWE shows that they have given us in years. Like an all-time great kind of show. Went from that, leaving super excited. We got exactly what we needed. It wasn't over-bloated. It wasn't overdone. It hit you right where it counted and gave you what you wanted, and then some. To WrestleMania, and, you know, we're going in excited. You know, we get in there, watch, you know, some matches, and we're like, okay, cool, man, it's WrestleMania. And then you're like, okay, it's still going. And then we end up by the main event leaving early. That's from one night from the same company that you're getting. And I think that's where the disconnect is of, you know, Vince can think that NXT is for the hardcore fans, but he needs to get in his mind that people are looking at NXT as a completely separate entity to WWE right now. People aren't connecting NXT to WWE because it is ran so much better than the main roster. It doesn't even feel like WWE. It feels like its own modernized version of a high-tier independent wrestling, like, just juggernaut. Like, it just feels so fresh and vibrant and good, and leaves you feeling like, how is this connected to WWE? Because you go to a WWE show and you just get shit like continuously delivered to you. And that's what I think the disconnect, where Vince might be like, hey, you guys get NXT, that's your hardcore, that's your wrestling based stuff, but just know that that's still a WWE thing. No, it's not. It doesn't feel anything like WWE. It is
funding it.
Yeah, you might be funding it. You might be acquiring the talent, but it is not like there is a huge disconnect there when it comes to how those shows are produced and how those shows end up coming out, because it's drastically different. I don't view NXT as even being a part of WWE. That's why I look at guys like NXT leaving to go to the main roster is like leaving a company. It doesn't even feel like they're moving up, because it's not. Some guys don't even want to move up. There's guys that like said, I think Adam Cole said it too. He's like, I'd be cool just staying in NXT. And that's I think how a mentality can go to maybe to where it's just NXT becomes its own entity and just becomes its own like brand, to where people will go to NXT WrestleManias and people will go to like NXT huge events or whatever. And that could be something down the road that Triple H thinks is like, hey, man, if he's going to hold on to the main roster until this fucker literally dies, like, I'm going to make this the best thing that I can possibly make it in the time that I have my hands on it. And that's all we have to look forward to when it comes to WWE. Might be connected to it, but it sure as shit doesn't feel like it is when it comes to that show at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. So, let us know what you guys think about the competition between New Japan and WWE. There's definitely competition there. It's the first time in a long time. I know we had the old TNA try, which that didn't work out.
Cup of coffee
when they tried to compete. It's a new era of how people consume wrestling. And the fans want a lot of the hardcore fans that are willing to fly all the way across the country and see every one of these NXT shows and all that, and New Japan. And we've even talked about going to Wrestle Kingdom before, possibly doing that sometime maybe. But would I fly to Japan for a WWE show? No.
Fuck no.
Probably not.
No.
So it's just, you got to realize that there is a very large group of hardcore fans that I feel like you have to cater to for Raws and SmackDowns and so that you can get people like myself and Jman to come to those SummerSlams and WrestleManias
Absolutely.
Again, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't see myself going to a WWE pay-per-view.
Nope.
And for the foreseeable future.
Nope.
We talked about if they do another TakeOver close, we might just drive to TakeOver.
Just do TakeOver and leave on Sunday.
Yeah, and not go to...
not even stay for the WWE show.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have that mentality. But I think it's the genesis of this, we titled it like kind of a war between the two that could be brewing, but it's an early on process. New Japan has a lot to work to do, even though they have a new owner, a guy that seems to have a good vision in mind for the brand and for the company. But it's going to take New Japan taking over the United States. It's going to take New Japan coming over, and they're continuing. They announced more shows for the U.S., so they're continuing to put their product in front of fresh eyes and in front of people that have not seen.
WWE's trying
shows.
to dip their toes in
the
Japanese market.
Yeah.
They're working to have a partnership, I think, with Noah right now. They're trying to do that. So they're trying to work out partnerships with other companies and stuff like that around the world. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I certainly think that a modernized, wrestling war, it's great for everybody obviously involved, because it kicks up competition for everybody. But we'll see how that ends up going. It's going to take, guys maybe leaving WWE. It's going to be taking guys standing their ground in New Japan and outside of WWE, and some other variables and factors and stuff like that. But we hope to see that, because when it comes to quality wrestling, the places we turn to, obviously, one, NXT, but another major one is New Japan for sure. Not WWE's main roster at all. That's why this evening
show. Not that they can't do it either.
No, they have the talent. They have the talent to do it, but they just get in their own way.
The one thing we didn't mention was playing it safe with their wrestling, so people don't get hurt.
Yeah,
and that's one thing
true.
New Japan has gotten a lot of grief about is their guys getting hurt because they're running a stiffer style, but they're also wrestling less matches.
Yep.
So the WWE style, they are running more matches. They are working more shows than New Japan is, and they're doing more weekly shows. And
shit, you've even seen on NXT. Some of the spots we see in NXT, we would never see in WWE. The fucking matches to Gargano and Ciampa, the spots that we saw in New Orleans and the spots that we saw in Chicago, when's the last time you've seen spots like that in a fucking WWE show?
You don't.
You never see that shit. Granted,
they
NXT
don't want to get their guys hurt. Yeah.
No, they look at everybody as the valuable assets. They don't go out there and put their bodies on the line. They don't do this and that.
Right.
They do. And some of these guys maybe even want to take those chances. Want to have somebody be like, "Holy shit, did you see what this guy did?" Or "Holy shit, did you see what that guy did?" Like that's the kind of stuff that back in the day that
they're letting them do it in NXT and in 205 Live.
Right.
So they're letting them do those kind of spots because those guys are maybe they feel like they're a little disposable.
Yeah.
Because they're not on the main roster. But as far as I'm concerned, a lot of guys on the main roster are disposable.
Fuck yeah.
And you give them the opportunity. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It sucks ass if Seth Rollins gets hurt from doing a Hell in a Cell match where they do some crazy spots.
Right.
It sucks. It does. But you have so much talent.
Yeah.
You have so much you can work with.
And that's the kind of stuff that we don't want to wish for injuries or things like that, but stuff like that opens doors for guys, and that's what makes great shit happen. Like, things come about just out of the blue. Like, when Triple H got injured, different things were happening, and other guys got to step up. And back in the day when Tripp got injured, like, people get to step up and take those spots over because injuries happen, things like that. But everybody is so protected, and you can't have anything go wrong. And it just things do. It's athletic. It just it's gonna shit like that's gonna happen. Like, I'm not saying they should go out there and just fucking murder themselves, but what we see in NXT is the perfect amount of that. And what we see in New Japan, I would say obviously you have some of those risky spots, and you don't want to see guys like, unfortunately, Hiromu Takahashi literally almost fucking breaking his goddamn neck in that one spot. I don't think that was a spot that was so dramatic over to the top to where it's like anytime you do that, you're going to hurt yourself. But I think it was just kind of more of a botchy thing that happened there. But stuff like with Will Ospreay, he's been battling injuries and things like that as well. But that's what makes him great. That's what guys like AJ back in the day, the spots that he would take. That's what those guys want to do to draw eyes to them because they have the ability to do those things, unlike most people on the planet that don't have that ability, and they want to showcase it. They want to showcase that, hey, I can go up there and do this shit, and you can't. And that's why you watch me, because I am special for that reason.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. So like I said. Let us know what you guys think about the impending war that's slowly starting to manifest.
Could be brewing, possibly.
Between WWE and New Japan. We could definitely see some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, did want to get out. We are going to upload this for also on top of uploading it on the Dead Pulse Theory channel. We're also uploading it on the Pro Wrestling Pulse channel. So if any of you guys have not made the transition over to the Dead Pulse Theory, down in the description there'll be a link to our channel. Be sure to go over there, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We put out new videos every Sunday, so be sure to do that and check that shit out for sure.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for my partner Jarvis, I am Jman. This will wrap up this edition of the Dead Pulse Theory.
We need to go to broadcasting school. We suck.
Yeah, we do. We suck.
Two guys in the basement
doing our shit in front of a green screen, talking about wrestling. So that should be our intro to our show. Two dumb fuckers talking about other shit than wrestling and things. Yeah.
Subscribe.
I'll do it the proper way, okay? This will now wrap up this edition of the Dead Pulse Theory. For my partner Jarvis, I am J-Man, and we'll see you guys next week.
Fuck you.